Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
All right, so get this. Imagine a sport. It's basically nonstop action. Athletes are insanely skilled. And the tension is so high, you can practically feel it in the air.
Yeah.
That's Rugby Sevens, and today we're taking a deep dive into the Vancouver Sevens tournament.
Right.
You sent over this article from AP News, and it looks like both the Argentinian men's team and the New Zealand women's team had some pretty impressive wins.
Yeah, they did indeed. It's worth noting that this tournament is part of the World Rugby Sevens series. And the Vancouver Sevens is the fourth event in the series.
Okay.
So these teams are already in a competitive rhythm, and the stakes are pretty high at this point.
So for those of us who might not know what makes the Vancouver Sevens so special in the world of rugby.
Well, it's one of the most prestigious events on the entire World Rugby Sevens series calendar.
Okay.
It draws huge crowds, the fans are incredibly passionate, and the level of play is top-notch.
Yeah.
Teams really bring their A-game to Vancouver.
And speaking of bringing their A-game, Argentina just snagged their fourth consecutive Vancouver title.
Right.
That's a serious dynasty in the making, wouldn't you say?
It's a remarkable achievement, no question.
Yeah.
They faced off against South Africa in the final,
Yeah.
a team that has consistently been a tough opponent for them.
Okay.
In fact, before this win, Argentina hadn't beaten South Africa in a final in their last 6 encounters.
Wow. Talk about breaking a streak.
Yeah.
So the final score was 19-12, which sounds like it was a pretty intense match. Did Argentina dominate from the start, or was it a nail-biter?
South Africa really put up a fight,
Okay.
especially in the second half.
Yeah.
But Argentina managed to hold on for the win. It wasn't a runaway victory by any means.
There's something about Argentina and Vancouver.
Right.
The article even mentioned the Argentinian captain, Santiago Mare, saying something about how much the team loves playing in the city.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's a psychological edge for them here?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
It could be the atmosphere, the energy of the crowd, maybe even something as simple as feeling comfortable with the playing conditions. Whatever it is, there's no denying that Vancouver seems to bring out the best in Argentina.
And this win wasn't just a feel-good moment for Argentina. It launched them to the top of the season standings, right?
Absolutely. With this win, Argentina is sitting at the top of the leaderboard with 68 points.
Wow.
Putting them in a strong position for the overall championship.
That sets the stage for some serious competition as the series continues.
For sure.
And even though South Africa didn't win, it sounds like their comeback effort in the second half was pretty impressive.
Oh, absolutely. They showed a lot of grit and determination, closing the gap significantly. Even though they fell short, in the end, it demonstrates that South Africa is still a major contender and won't back down easily.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about the women's final. New Zealand, another powerhouse in rugby, crushed Fiji with a score of 41-7.
Yeah, New Zealand was simply unstoppable in that match.
Wow.
They dominated from start to finish, showcasing the skill and precision that have made them Olympic champions.
This is their third straight Vancouver title.
Yeah.
Which just adds to their legacy of dominance. But even with such a decisive win, there was a sense of respect for their opponents. The article highlighted New Zealand captain Sarah Hirani's kind words about their Fijiana sisters.
Right. It speaks volumes about the sportsmanship that's often present in rugby,
Yeah.
even at the highest level of competition. Recognizing the effort and skill of your opponents, even in defeat, is a hallmark of true sportsmanship.
Now, we can't talk about New Zealand's win without mentioning Michaela Blyde, who had a truly phenomenal tournament.
Right. She's a force of nature on the field. In Vancouver, she scored her 10th try of the tournament,
Wow.
further extending her all-time World Series record to an astounding 264 tries.
Okay, for those who might not be familiar with Rugby Sevens, can you break down just how impressive that is? What exactly is a try and how many points is it worth?
Sure. A try in Rugby Sevens is similar to a touchdown in American football. You score it by grounding the ball in the opponent's in-goal area.
Okay.
Each try is worth 5 points, and you can add 2 more with a successful conversion kick after the try.
So to score over 250 of those, wow. Blyde's speed, agility, and awareness on the field must be exceptional.
Absolutely. She's known for her ability to read the game and make split-second decisions, and she's a nightmare for opposing teams to try and defend.
So with these wins in Vancouver, where did these teams stand in the overall standings for the series?
Well, as we said, Argentina's win puts them at the top of the men's standings with 68 points. But Spain is right behind them with 64 points.
Oh, wow.
And Fiji and South Africa are tied for third place at 62 points. It's going to be a tight race to the finish.
And on the women's side, I imagine New Zealand is sitting pretty at the top.
They are indeed. New Zealand leads the women's standings with 76 points.
Okay.
Followed by Australia with 70 points and then France with 52 points. While New Zealand is a comfortable lead, there's still a lot of rugby to be played and anything can happen.
That's what makes following a series like this so exciting.
Yeah.
It's not just about one tournament. It's a journey with twists and turns, rivalries, and unexpected challenges along the way.
Exactly. And those are the elements that we'll explore further in our next segment,
Okay.
where we'll delve into what makes Rugby Sevens so thrilling for both players and fans.
You know, it's interesting because we've talked a lot about the wins, the scores, and the standings, but reading through this article, I got the sense that there's something about Rugby Sevens that goes beyond just who wins or loses. It seems like there's a unique energy to this sport.
Yeah, it's true. Rugby Sevens is a captivating blend of athleticism and strategy, all packed into a fast-paced format that keeps everyone on the edge of their seats.
So for someone who might not be familiar with Rugby Sevens, what are some of the key elements that make it such a thrilling spectator sport?
Well, the first thing you'll notice is the sheer speed of the game.
Okay.
These athletes are incredibly fast and agile. They're constantly sprinting, weaving through defenders, making quick passes, all while trying to avoid being tackled.
Right.
The action is nonstop.
And the matches are only 14 minutes long.
Right.
It's like a concentrated burst of energy.
Exactly. And because you have fewer players on the field compared to traditional rugby, each player's role becomes even more crucial.
Yeah.
It's a real test of stamina and endurance.
You mentioned strategy earlier. What are some of the tactical considerations that come into play in Rugby 7?
With fewer players on the field, spacing and positioning become absolutely vital.
Okay.
Teams have to be very strategic about how they attack and defend. They'll often employ formations like the diamond or the stack to create overlaps or exploit gaps in the defense.
So it's not just about brute force, it's about outsmarting your opponent.
Absolutely. There's a real chess match element to it.
Yeah.
Teams need to anticipate their opponent's moves, exploit weaknesses, and adapt their tactics on the fly.
Okay.
The mental aspect of the game is just as important as the physical.
And then there's the unpredictability factor, right? With 7 players on each side, a single missed tackle or a dropped pass can change the entire momentum of the game.
You said it. 1 minute, a team could be on the attack, and the next they're scrambling to defend their own try line.
Wow.
That element of surprise is what keeps the fans glued to their seats.
I remember reading about a time when a team was down by a significant margin with only a few minutes left, but then they managed to score 2 quick tries and win the game.
Right?
It's those kinds of comebacks that make it so exciting.
It's a testament to the resilience and never-give-up attitude that's so prevalent in Rugby Sevens. No matter the score, teams always believe they have a chance to turn things around.
Now, I have to confess, I've never actually seen a live Rugby Sevens match, but after reading about these Vancouver Sevens results, I'm starting to feel like I'm missing out.
You really are. There's something electric about the atmosphere at a live Rugby Sevens match.
Yeah.
The energy of the crowd, the speed of the game, the sound of the collisions. It's an experience that's hard to describe.
It seems like Rugby Sevens is gaining popularity, too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hearing more and more about it.
It's definitely on the rise, and there are a few reasons for that.
Okay.
The shorter format makes it more accessible for both players and spectators. It's easier to fit a 14-minute match into your schedule than a full 80-minute rugby game.
And the fast-paced action makes it perfect for today's attention spans.
Exactly. Plus, the World Rugby Sevens series adds a global dimension.
Okay.
You have teams from all over the world competing, bringing their unique styles and cultural influences to the game.
It's a true celebration of athleticism and sportsmanship on an international scale. So we've talked about the victories, the season standings, and the exciting elements of the game itself.
Right. But if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, these wins in Vancouver weren't just about adding trophies to a cabinet.
I think you're right. They represent something more.
They were statements about the heart and soul of Rugby Sevens, a sport where every second counts, where athleticism meets strategy, and where the unexpected is always waiting around the corner.
Yeah, they really highlight the dedication, the skill and the sheer passion these athletes bring to the field every single time they play.
Right. And, for those of us watching, whether in the stadium or on TV, it's a reminder of why we love sports in the first place. The drama, the intensity, those moments of incredible triumph, and yes, even the sting of defeat.
It's all part of the journey, isn't it? And looking ahead to the rest of the World Rugby Sevens series, I can't help but wonder, can Argentina and New Zealand maintain this level of dominance?
It's a great question. Can they bottle this momentum and carry it through the rest of the season?
Or will we see another team rise to the challenge, shake things up a bit?
Right.
I guess only time will tell.
One thing's for certain, though, we're in for a thrilling ride. That's the beauty of a series like this. You never quite know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. Every tournament brings new challenges, new rivalries, and the potential for those incredible underdog stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for you listening in, I hope this deep dive has sparked a bit of curiosity about Rugby Sevens. Maybe even inspired you to check out a match.
If you've never seen a game before, I highly recommend it. Whether you catch it online on TV or even better live at a stadium, it's an experience that will absolutely captivate you.
For sure. The speed, the athleticism, the tactical brilliance, the sheer passion of the players, it's unlike anything else.
Who knows, you might just discover your new favorite sport.
Right. So keep an eye on the World Rugby Sevens series. Argentina and New Zealand may be the front runners right now, but the race is far from over. New stars will emerge, rivalries will ignite, and the battle for the championship will be fierce.
And we'll be here ready to break it all down for you, diving deep into the most fascinating stories and insights from the world of Rugby Sevens. Until then, thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.